Well, hey guys, what's up? Well, remember last week I told you I would tell you or share with you how I eat for time regulated eating, or some people call it intermittent fasting. The program I was using so I could either at least lessen my severe arthritis or maybe even eradicate it completely. Now, I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to get them to do something that they don't want to do. But for me, the one reason I came out publicly about my arthritis is because it's something anybody who looked at me could see. You know, had it been something nobody could have even seen, y'all would have never known about it. But since it is something people can see when they look at me, I just thought I would share my journey to try to, work all this out with you. Now, I have lost an average of 5 pounds a week. I have lost 15 pounds in the last 3 weeks, but I gained 2 back, full disclosure. And this is what I want to talk to you about. Everybody's body is different. Now, I have found this form of eating, which I don't even consider a diet, but just a new way to eat, the easiest thing I have ever done. But there was still a learning curve. So today I'm going to share with you some of the learning curves I found in case this turns out to be something that you would like to try. Let's get on with it. When I first started this, my concern was, am I going to be able to fast for 16 hours? Because I have chosen 16-8, which means you eat and only eat within a certain 8-hour window, and then you don't eat the remaining 16 hours. Now, because of my life schedule and work schedule, I chose to only eat between the hours of 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. Now, 11 a.m. I'm actually at work, which works because between the 16 hours of fasting, ideally the first 12 hours, your body is burning the fuel that you put in it the previous 8 hours when you could eat. Ideally, that is all depleted, and then your body starts burning fat. And that is where the real weight loss comes in. And because I work at Amazon and I am there from 7:30 to 11, those last 4 hours are well put to use because I put out a hell of a lot of energy. And I think that's the reason why my weight loss, in my opinion, is really very good. Now, I thought I wouldn't be able, to go 16 hours. But for the most part, I don't eat after 7. At 10 o'clock, I go to bed. I'm usually full. I don't really want anything. And then when I get up in the morning, I usually have 2 cups of coffee. And that actually tides me over. I was always an avid breakfast is the most important meal of the day person. But I find that as time has gone on, those 2 cups of coffee keep me going straight up to lunchtime. Now, I told you I lost 15 pounds and I gained 2 back. Well, there's a learning curve. I found that I can pretty much eat anything I want to in that 8-hour time span, but carbs are my bugaboo. So let's say I have tuna salad on whole wheat toasted bread for lunch. That means when I get home for dinner, if I'm going to have rice or noodles, it cannot be more than a half a cup. In other words, if I have 2 slices of bread and make a heaping tuna salad sandwich at lunch, then I really can't have too many carbs when I get home that evening. And I found it's as simple as that. And so for me, I didn't feel too deprived. Now if I don't have bread at lunch, then that means I can have rolls for dinner. I can still have a half a cup of noodles or something, but I can still have my bread. And if you want to know a great way to make your bread and noodles have less carbs, well, check out my video 2 videos back, and I think I told you the secret. I can eat anything I want, but the truth of the matter is I don't have time to eat everything I want in 8 hours. So I think I mentioned last week that I had to cut back buying food because I don't take leftovers to work anymore. I don't want to eat that heavy. I don't want to maybe blow my carbs on something that I'd rather just have at dinner time. So you see what I'm saying? So no, I for lunch I usually keep it simple. Tuna salad on toast, oatmeal with butter and honey is like the best thing in the world if you've never tried it. And even when I have my tuna salad sandwich, I like to put Fritos on top. But I don't eat any other kind of junk food the rest of the day just so I can put those Fritos on top of that sandwich. Now, do I have ice cream and cake? Well, you know what? I've been trying, but it just seems like the last 3 weeks I haven't been able to squeeze it in. But if and when I squeeze it in, I am going to have it. But I also know that better be the only sugar I have the entire time that I am allowed to eat. So for me, I can have what I want. I just can't have it all in the same day. So, at this point, I only cook my favorite foods. Only my favorite foods. That way, when I get home from work, I have something really great to look at. And I know I can have a healthy portion of it, and it'll keep me going until I eat the next day at 11 o'clock. Last week, I bought too much food again. I didn't get to cook the ribs. I didn't get to make crab cakes. So this week, the only thing I'm going to buy at the grocery store is chicken. And hopefully I'll get all of that ate this week in the form of dinners. Because as I said, I don't take leftovers for lunch. I prefer to have a good hearty meal at dinner time and eat something light for lunch. Yes, I've had my steak and cheese sub with a few potato chips. Yes, I've had my Chinese food. Now see, the Chinese food was where I got in trouble, okay? I love egg foo young. And you usually get 3 big patties and a container of rice like that. And so I had a patty and half the rice for dinner for 2 nights. Unfortunately, I also had tuna salad sandwiches those 2 days for lunch. Half a container of that rice was too much rice. I really needed to cut that rice back to a half a cup. And that's why instead of me getting on the scale and it's saying 171, it's at 172. And then the next day, it was 173. So I figured out real quick where the mistake came from. So I am very careful with my carbs. But other than that, if I want to have something crazy like a steak and cheese sub, which of course is on bread, I know I can't have any other carbs the whole rest of the day. It's as simple as that. And a steak and cheese sub is totally worth it, okay? So since I can't have any more carbs, whatever meals I have are protein or vegetables. For me, it's the easiest thing I've ever done. Now, part of the reason why I chose to, kind of come public with this is because, yes, I work at Amazon, and I've actually met some folk, okay, at Amazon who've seen some of my Amazon commercials. So, this is how I see it. I can tell you all anything I want to, but those people see me every day. So it wouldn't make sense for me to come on and make videos that weren't factual, because they can see my decline, because I did decline for 6 months until I started this. But they can also see me moving forward. So yeah, I think that for me, it was also therapeutic Because it was kind of hard. When I started using my cane at work, there were people who would usually always say, "Good morning, Miss Sheila," would start avoiding my gaze. You know, my neighbors downstairs. Before, I'd walk past them and they say hi. Once I started using the cane, when they started seeing me come in with groceries, they would go in the house. Because I think people don't like to see what they consider unattractiveness, whether it's physical or mental or health-wise. It bothers people to see that. Also, I believe that some people feel like, oh my God, now I got to offer to help. Let me just pretend I don't see her. Let me go in the house. Now, of course, people who know me know that I would put a bullet in my head before I ask somebody for help, which is one of my biggest problems, my independence. But one thing I did notice during my ordeal here with arthritis is that before, first of all, I lost 2 years, because it was kind of time for me to settle down. I lost 2 years with the pandemic. Then I lost another almost 2 years with my knees because I didn't feel like I was worthy of dating. Because, we as women always say, don't choose a man you got to take care of. Well, the same thing goes vice versa. If I didn't want a man I had to take care of, what right did I have to try to voice myself on somebody else? So my feeling was, unless I can beat this arthritis thing, I guess I am going to end up single the rest of my life. But since I got a handle on it, oh, baby, I'm ready now. Okay? Because, see, I'm old-fashioned, and maybe I'm even misogynistic. I don't know. But you can see a man with a cane, and he can, as long as he look good, and he still got some swag, women still gonna throw themselves at him. Now, sure, there may be some women who can pull that off, but I wasn't one of those women. I hated using the cane, and I felt very unattractive. And I have a feeling, because men will be men, they're not going to really be attracted to a woman who's got some outwardly physical problems. Now, my sister thought I was terrible for feeling this way. She said that she'd never not considered dating somebody if they had a limp, but she would not date them if they were ugly. Whereas I'm just the opposite. Leroy had a limp, but Leroy, he leaned into that limp. He said, look, I used to play football. That's all he had to say. He was attractive as hell to everybody, But I've never called somebody ugly because people can't help how they're born. So, we have a disagreement on who has more character, but I'm just telling you how I personally feel. And like I told her, I said it'd be one thing if I said, well, I wouldn't date a guy, who had physical issues, but then the moment I get them, I turn around and go, well, they should still want to date me. Why are they so mean? I mean, how are you going to do that? So yeah, now that my knees have gotten better, this week I didn't use my cane at all at work. Oh, and look at this. My double chin getting better too, okay? So some of those people who avoided my gaze, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I see you, Miss Sheila. Way to go. And I'm thinking, bitch. Same way about the people downstairs. Don't speak to me now that I'm doing better. It's it's a thing with me, okay? It's a thing with me. But by the same token, complete strangers have been so nice. I've seen people go out their way to hold the door for me, and I'm like, huh, don't worry about it. It's going to take me a minute. And they go, you know what? I don't mind. And they would still just stand there and wait for me to get there. So, yeah, it's, maybe some people can take things like this and go, well, with the grace of God, I'll learn humility. Okay, I did learn some humility, but I also know that people are people. And sometimes people just don't want to be bothered with somebody who looks like they might be trouble. Even though I would never ask anybody to hold the door for me. I would never ask anybody to help me with my groceries. people still treat you like you might. So my sharing all this with you, as well as what I'm doing for my arthritis, is my way of saying maybe there's a way you can handle your arthritis that doesn't require being cut with a knife and 4 to 5 months of physical therapy. Because I've met people in real life, not just people online, that say, oh, I got my knees done and I was dancing a jig 2 weeks later. No, I met people at work who had knee replacements. And one guy admitted he didn't do the physical therapy well. And he still got a hell of a limp. I'm like, man, that's a lot of work and a lot of, time just to still have a limp. I have a friend who had 2 knee replacements. They made her lose a bunch of weight before they even did them. One came out great. The other one, she's still struggling with. They had to redo it, and she's still struggling with it. And the weight came back. But she also told me that she used the intermittent fasting. That's how she lost all that weight so she could have her knee replacement. And she said, Sheila, if you have any questions, just ask me. She goes, do as I say, don't do as I do. And I started laughing because I knew what she meant, Everything doesn't have to be status quo. Some things, you can try other things. And God knows I tried every kind of potion and lotion and motion and every hair braid. I've tried some arthritic, well, I don't have it on, but I tried a piece of jewelry that's supposed to help arthritis. Anything, so I wouldn't have to get knee replacement. And who knew that the weight you've carried all your life, and even though you had arthritis, it never came to the surface, that you could have a shock to your body so bad. For me, it was a rheumatoid arthritis flare brought on by the stresses of the pandemic, that I dropped 30 pounds. And then all of a sudden, my body decided it didn't want to carry my old weight. We like the new weight. So you need to get back down to that weight before we're going to work again. I'm just happy my doctor even brought that up to me, because it has been worth it. Look at this. No hands. For those of you who saw my camping trip last year, did y'all notice I never got out that chair? There was a reason why I never got out that chair. When I edited that video last summer, I said, if this is the best I can do, I'm just not even going to film a camping trip. Well, hell, if this is the best I can do, why even come? I can do this shit on the balcony. I'm going camping this year. So, I just thought I would share with you my story, my solution, and girlfriend got a date. Well, let me tell you, an old friend asked me out right around Christmas, and I said yes, but right around Christmas is also when I was using a cane. And I thought about it, and this is a friend that, we did motorcycles together, we did sports cars together, we did stuff. And I thought, oh man, I don't want him to see me with a cane. I'm not saying he's superficial, I'm just saying I am. And I'm like, nope, I can't let him see me with a cane. So I canceled the date, and what you call it? I ghosted him, because I didn't want to talk about it. Last week, when I knew I was on the right road and my knees were going to come back, I sent him a text, and I said, look, I know I was inconsiderate, but I had a lot going on, and sometimes you don't want to bring other people into your drama. But I'm doing better now, and I did want to say I'm sorry. 10 minutes later, he sent me a text, and he goes, does this mean we can have lunch now? And I said, sure, if you want to. So, providing he don't stand me up, we got a date. And I'm going to tell you something. I realized how hard it was to do all the things I had to do with arthritis by myself. I made the decision right then and there that if I beat this thing, 1, I'm going to find me a partner. And 2, I only have 3 requirements now. See, I don't need to know how much you got in the bank. I don't need to know what your credit score is. These are the only 3 requirements I have, because I have learned some things. 1, you got good insurance, because in case you need it, want to know you're covered. 2, Do I like you enough to wipe your butt in case something does happen to you? And 3, are you prepared for a real relationship where 2 people live under the same roof? Because I am not interested in anything less than that, because quite frankly, I can't afford to be retired yet. Thank God my knees are working so I can keep working. But unless we're going to live under the same roof, I'm just not interested. So yeah, those are the 3 things I'm looking at. And those are the only 3 things I'm looking at. But this has been an eye-opening experience for me. And I am only thankful that whatever maze the universe had my little rat ass in to see how I would handle it, well, obviously, I'm hitting that finish line. But I hope after this, the universe will retire my ass, because I think this is the biggest thing I've ever gone through that I've shared with you all. And I think that I have managed this with as much grace as I could, considering how pissed I was about the whole thing. I hope the universe is satisfied with my handling. I hope that they retire my ass, put a ribbon around my neck and say, you know what? This king rat, she got through every damn thing we threw at her, and she still made it through that maze. Good girl. See, some of y'all think I'm crazy, but I think some of y'all understand what I mean. So, until next time, take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.